Hey, Jeffy.
Hey, Jeffy.
Welcome to Hey Julie, a podcast about Survivor and Big Brother. Danielle, hello. How are you? Good morning.
Hello. I'm doing wonderfully. How are you?
Good, because as some people might see, we're back.
Keyword.
We're back on YouTube, baby.
Wow. I'm so
Props
excited to
to,
be here.
Steve
To you.
Google or whatever.
Oh, props to Brett for figuring out how to set it all
It's
up.
not that hard. It's not that hard. Technology's come a long way. But we
Mm.
teased last week some surprises, and we'll lead off with the surprises, I suppose.
Wow, the big reveal.
Yeah, so we did the YouTube potting thing like early season 1 of the pandemic, like May 2020. We were like, let's do this. Everyone
Let's do
seems
it
to be
live.
doing it.
Yeah.
Let's do it live. I have nothing else happening in my life. And then we kind of fell off with it, which is fine.
It happens.
But now, as I said, the technology is getting a little bit easier to deal with.
Yeah.
So we're doing it. You know what? As a podcast industry professional, you got to be doing video in the year of our Jeff 2023. So that's what we're doing.
Exactly. So we're back and we're better than ever. We've matured a couple years.
We certainly have.
So that's part of the surprise.
The other surprise is not props to Steve Twitter. We're keeping the Twitter for now, but we are announcing our Discord channel. We have Discord. I don't know, like, are there like URLs for Discord? Is it just
I
like
think we have to
Discord
share
/ Hey
invites.
Julie? Yeah, okay. So that'll be in. We'll tweet it out if Steve Twitter doesn't ban us.
Keeps it alive, yeah.
We'll tweet it out. The link will absolutely be in the podcast description. It will absolutely be in the YouTube description, so you can find it there. We're not very hard to find, I promise you that. So yeah, Discord. Listen, I'm new to the Discord thing. I already have Slack for my job, so I don't know, like, notifications are not going to be on for Discord. Let me just tell you that right now. Notifications not going to be on. If you want to at me,
push. Yeah.
No push. Please,
Yeah.
I need less push notifications in my life. We'll figure it out there. Talking to us, submitting questions to us there. There's a little Big Brother channel. There's a little Survivor channel. There's a little Dani Was Right channel.
Which we love.
So, yeah, there's that. Talk to us there, I suppose.
Yeah, because, I think well, maybe not all. Some of us are still having a little bit of fun on Twitter, especially with the happenings of these past couple of days.
I've been having
blue check drama.
I've been having a ton of fun in the last 30
Yeah,
seconds.
I have too. But I just think, and I actually texted Brad, I was like, I think I'm going to delete my Twitter. Once all the blue checks went away that day, I was like, oh, things are just going to go really downhill. But you know what? Hashtag Dani was wrong, because immediately after, things got really fun.
It's truly amazing. We'll get to Survivor in a minute.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing now that you click on any tweet to see the replies, and immediately at the top, the funniest responses are there, and they have a blue check right next to them. And it is so funny to read the blue check now as like a comedy indicator of like,
this idiot.
Twitter has self-selected the stupidest and worst
Yes.
and like most unintentionally funny takes and put a little blue mark next to them. And that's
yeah.
I just
editorialized.
Can't get enough joy out of that part of it, that like all of the stupidest stuff has the blue check mark next to it. It's so great.
It's one last gas, I think, before things dampen down. Or maybe not. I don't know. We've been saying this for a while. He took over months ago. Maybe there's some life in the old bag yet.
Yeah. There's some life in us yet. And we're medium age bags.
Medium age. We did both watch Survivor this week.
We did. It is Sunday morning as we tape this. I watched it a mere hours ago.
I did too.
Oh,
wow. Know what? I'm going to just be honest. I was like,
okay,
I'm putting this off. I had other stuff that I was, you know what took priority for me over watching this week's episode of Survivor, and we'll get to them.
Doing literally anything else,
but also,
I know you went to the theater.
I did. I went to the circus. I went to the circus.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. I was trying to make
That
it seem fancier.
well, you could just call it Cirque du Soleil.
What is yeah, exactly. Like, is it theater? Is it circus? Is it both?
It's both because it's like clownery, you know?
Yeah.
But you know
I'm
when
not a big
Hillary
fan.
Clinton talked to that 100-year-old clown? It's that kind
No.
of clowning. It's like
Oh no.
Italian clowning. It's artistic clowning. I looked up the
That's
plot. Okay, really quick
it's a
before we
no for
talk
me.
about Survivor.
It's a no for
Really
me on
quick.
Cirque du Soleil.
So the Cirque du Soleil show I went to see was called Kuza. And during intermission, by the way, it's like they really give you your money's worth. It's like a 3-hour long show. It takes forever.
Okay.
After the first act, I was ready to go. But then there was another hour left, and I was like, it was free. So I kind of was like, I was there with friends. So I stayed. But
I was gonna
the
ask,
plot,
did the baby attend Cirque du Soleil?
no, this is an adults. Listen, Cirque du Soleil is adults only. I don't think children should go at all. They're going to get ideas.
You know what? We're on a Cirque du Soleil tangent. Can you travel back in time and say that to
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. R in like 1995? Because
To give you nightmares.
my grandparents lived in Las Vegas and I grew up in
Yeah.
Los Angeles, right? So we went to Las Vegas a lot when I was a kid. Like anytime anything happened, let's go in the car. We're driving to Vegas, 4-hour drive,
Sure.
right? So
Yeah.
we went to Vegas a lot when I was a kid. And what do you do with kids in Vegas in the early 90s? Take them to Cirque du Soleil, I guess. So I seen every Cirque du Soleil in Vegas from like 1993
You're a
until
connoisseur.
2001. No, and they all sucked. They all sucked. I was like the giant oversized crying baby in one of them. And I think was dramatized in the film Knocked Up. Like, which is like they just went to one of the real Cirque du Soleil shows and filmed that, and it was like, let's just make this a trippy acid sequence and not change anything.
Yeah.
Anyways, it sucked. I hated it, and I don't like Cirque du Soleil as a result.
You know, it's a Canadian production.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
French clowns, French Canadian clowns.
Yeah. Well, let's keep it to Mike Myers and like Jim Carrey and stuff. And
Yeah,
not
those are my clowns.
Those are the
not my
best
clowns.
Canadian. Yeah.
Well, I didn't think it was horrible, but I was just honestly watching it. I was like, they shouldn't be allowed to do this. This is like some fucked up shit. They shouldn't be doing this. The way they were jumping in the air, and you know, I go into everything very skeptical. I'm thinking to myself, they rehearsed this almost fall, right? Because they all almost fall at one point.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's just part of the show. They're not gonna fall. But I think it's hard to not be like a little bit impressed by some of the stuff they're doing. It's just crazy. But the plot itself, we looked it up, was like an innocent is taken in by the trickster to a world of magic and wonder where he learns confidence and self-discovery. And I'm like, isn't that the plot of all of the Cirque du Soleils? Isn't there always some innocent and then a tricky one who's like dances all sexy?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. And I've seen every single one. But like me, like you, I also went to Wikipedia this week because I was like, you know what movie I'm not seeing? Evil Dead 900.
Oh yeah, like Dead Reckoning or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Sorry, what have you been trying to talk about for the last 10 minutes? And I keep cutting
well, I do want to mention, because it does sort of tie into the original theme of our entire podcast, which is Big Brother. I found the show Cirque du Soleil fairly enjoyable. You know who really liked it? My fellow audience member, host of Big Brother Canada, Arissa Cox.
Oh!
She was there with her kids, so I wasn't going to go up and be weird. Because I was asking my friends, should I go up to her and say, hey, I'm a huge fan of Big Brother US, and I'm vaguely familiar with your show. But I was like, that there's no way to say it that doesn't come across really rude. And I like Arissa. I think she's a great host. So I didn't do that. I just left her alone.
Should you have gone up to her and be like, hey, Arissa, is Big Brother Canada happening this year? That would have been the sickest burn.
Yeah, because it was like her one night off, I think.
She probably has many nights off.
Well, doesn't she have to host every night? I don't know.
Does she
You're
do
right,
the
because they
little
don't do
daily
live
doubles?
anymore, probably. Yeah, daily doubles. I don't know, but it was like, what a Canadian star sighting.
Every time I see something about Big Brother Canada 11 on Twitter. I'm like, this cannot be real. These are
It's
not
not
the
really
actual names of the
happening.
contestants. This is like an Onion post about Big Brother Canada. It's like,
Yeah. But so that
Steve told Mandy to fuck off. I'm like, in
whoa.
the Wendy's suite.
Mandy.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Sounds like a real season of Big Brother to me.
$100,000 worth of Weber grills.
$100,000.
Isn't that what it was? Or
It was like
10,000? It was too much.
10,000 is a really, really, really expensive like grill loadout in your backyard.
Gorgeous
And it's like
grill.
maybe you have 2 or 3 grills and maybe there's like a smoker involved. $100,000 worth of Weber grills is excessive. I think even some restaurants would be like, no, I think we're good with what we have.
Yeah, like the Mongolian grill would say that's too much for us.
Oh,
Do you have Mongolian grill in the US?
I don't think it's called. Is that the name of the restaurant?
Yeah.
We have Mongolian grills. I don't think they are called Mongolian grill though. There's
Okay.
there's certainly one that's at malls that you go and you
Mhm.
like walk around a little circle around the giant walk or whatever it is.
Yes,
And
yes,
there's
yes.
other ones.
Same
There's other
thing.
ones.
Yeah.
I really recently went to one in a strip mall by LAX with my brother, and it was just like a family-owned operation. It was wonderful, lovely. Hit it up on
Yum.
Yelp, 5 stars.
This is all to say we did watch Survivor this week. It was
We
just
sure did.
it was just pushed back because I had to go to the circus. And then on Thursday and Friday night, I was like, you know what else? You know what I would like to watch instead of this? House MD, which
Oh
I
my
will
gosh.
discuss later. But
Oh
anyway,
my
let's
gosh.
talk about Survivor. We need to talk
I
about
was flipping. I was doing my late night, like falling asleep, one eye open, flipping through my Apple TV and going on the apps where you just like, I'm just gonna scroll all of the different apps until I fall asleep without watching anything. And I saw House MD and I thought of you. And then I was like, you know what? This is a sign that I should just go to sleep.
Yeah, you should be unconscious.
Yeah.
I will get back to that. This episode of Survivor, listen, we've put off talking about it for 12 minutes. You know why? Because what is there to say? A big, boring, nothing went home. Not a lot happened except the nerd Harry Potter was puking in a bush and Caroline uttered the words, turkey of the tribe.
Yeah, that certainly happened.
Oh, and Dani farted during Dani pulled a very like Billy Madison move. It was like I was watching a 90s Adam Sandler film because so the competition for immunity this week is you're standing on 2 poles and then you have to keep going lower where the sliver of wood that your foot is supposed to cling on to just gets smaller and smaller. So it's between him and what's her name? The girl who actually won, Angela?
Lauren.
And
welcome to all the people discovering us on YouTube. Like, oh, cool, a new Survivor podcast. I'll check it out. They talk about Mongolian grills and Cirque du Soleil for 12 minutes. And one of them doesn't know the name of the contestants full 2 months into the season.
Okay. And when we got to the tribal, I was like, oh my God, there are so many people left. How is this possible?
Were you like a fan of like retroactively, like, you know what, maybe they should just split it in 2 and only have half of them get voted out? Were you a fan of last week's decision?
No, I'm not a fan of last week's decision. I'm not a fan of, I thought at least like 2 people would go home this week or something. Cause it's just seeing that huge group of people in tribal, I was like, this is out of control.
I didn't mind it. I mean, it was pretty easy. It's pretty easy for me, someone who knows the name of the contestants.
Well, I also, speaking of names, didn't realize that the tribe's name was Vava.
Yeah.
I just like it. Vava Boom. I don't know.
Sure.
Like, did they choose that? It was cute.
They do.
Cute.
They do. I think they actually gave it a brief moment 1 or 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
Because I believe, like I might be completely wrong, but all these details, don't cancel me, don't at me. They're the ones who said it, not me. I believe they said, because they're in Fiji, I believe they said the Fijian word, if that's the language, sorry, for the number 4 was Va, and it's season 44, so they were Va Va as in 4.
Yeah, but I watched a
Gotcha.
season, Fans versus Favorites, where the guy, when they made up their own names for the split, was like, I just made up a name and told them it was Fiji. And like, he was like, I just thought the name sounded cool. So who am I to trust? Why would I trust them when they say that?
I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, we don't have to trust any of this
I
at
don't trust
all.
it. Okay,
I don't
good.
like when they come up with the names. I don't like that they still use the names. Half of this episode was like, oh, it's Ratu versus Tiki versus whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
say orange versus purple versus green.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Is it Carolyn's team or is it whoever else's team? That's all I care about.
And Jamie and Carson switched teams. So I'm like, well, are they part of these teams they're at war? Which one are they with? I don't know.
Carson is who was barfing. Barfing Carson.
Yeah. Other things happened in this episode. I think your description of the immunity challenge was reductive at best.
Well, I skipped all the stuff that comes before because
I
I'm
wanna
talking about
say
the part where he farted.
that was funny. I wrote that down. I wrote
Okay.
fart. The mud spinning thing, which we've seen now for a couple years.
Yeah.
Last year, famously, I forget her name. The girl who had one leg with the blade.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Whatever.
Angela.
She was awesome. Angela. Yeah, everyone's named Angela. Everyone's named Angela or Andrew. If we don't know their names.
No, it was like Naomi.
No.
It
No.
was it was like
if
Natalie.
only there was some way to look this up.
No,
unless some sort of
we can't use that
interconnected
website.
web of information. Whatever, who cares? The mud thing that's like spinning, like, and last year she got like caught her blade in it and couldn't get out, and it was like a really sad moment.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I think the mud net is possibly the most horrible thing that they have them do.
Yeah.
And
Noelle, by the way. I was very
Noelle,
close.
there we go. Angela, yeah. I think it's like one of the most torturous like things in New Survivor. And Jeff is like, you gotta dig deep inside of you. And Carolyn is screaming like she is in the new Evil Dead movie, having her face sawn off or something like that. Just screaming screams of terror and pain. And then after the competition, we're in the middle, immediately following this, we have Carson vomiting. We have Carson screaming in like she's being suffocated in a mud net, which is exactly what she is or having done to her. And then it cuts to Jeff on the beach, like, Survivor's a trip of a lifetime. Sign up. Sign up to be a contestant. It's an adventure. And he's clean. He's had eggs for breakfast. No.
He's wearing his white shoes.
No.
His white dad sneaks.
I know about the white dad sneaks. The YouTube.
You got a pair?
Subscribers can see. No. Well, no, I have white sneaks. White sneaks are back. They've been back for like 5-10 years.
Yeah, they're back, baby.
I don't have the Adidas. I know they taped this last year, but you can't be rocking the Adidas sneaks anymore, Jeff.
Oh. Well, Jeff takes style tips from no man, and Jeff loved that fart. Jeff laughed.
I didn't see it. It was funny. I don't think we've seen that.
Yeah, I don't think we have seen such attention called out to a fart on Survivor. That's true. But doesn't it say something that was the most memorable part of the episode?
Basically, I was a little bit nervous at first. The episode starts and they're like, hey, we have tree mail. Everyone, the immunity challenge is starting, but we have to split into groups of 2. And I was like, Jesus Christ, guys. Jesus, what are we? I was like preparing to be upset again. I was preparing for another episode where like only 3 people were somehow eligible to be voted out. And like, they had to go to another island or something, like just the repeat of the crap from last week where like only 4 people could have been voted out or something like that.
Right.
Just stop playing around with the mechanics of the game. Ultimately, I think it was a somewhat regular episode. We've seen that style of immunity challenge before where it's 10 people start out, 9 people start out, and they're slowly whittling down how many people can compete in the last part of it. I'm fine with that. Whatever. I'm sure we will have next week or the week after everybody standing with a bucket on their head and just like not moving for, 4 hours or whatever, those style ones. So I was fine with it. It really kind of shined a light on like the 3, 4 most athletic people.
Yeah.
And that came to roost for one of them.
One last wait. I said the fart was the funniest part of this episode, or like the most interesting. You know what else I noticed
Mhm.
after the competition? So Dani falls and Angela wins, but as Dani's
Lauren.
as Dani's
Angela played last year. She lost her leg in a car accident.
oh, yeah, right. So wait, Lauren won. I actually
Yeah.
like Lauren too. As Dani's, so everyone like gets up and is like, "Yay, hugging." Yam Yam goes to give Dani a high five, and Dani just like pushes him away. Did you notice this?
No.
Dani was so, I guess, mad about his loss, but he just like Yam Yam's like, "Hey, like no hard feelings."
Yeah, yeah.
Goes to give him a high five, and Dani's just like, "No." To Yam Yam.
Wow. Body language queen.
I mean, I
Marking
thought
it
this
down.
was yeah, exactly. This is why no one's gonna root for Dani to win. That's the start of his villain era, let me tell you. The
The
fart and leaving
first the
someone
fart.
hanging,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not looking good for Dani.
I do actually have quite a few things to talk about still. Like, so Danny is one of them.
Okay.
Danny made a couple questionable moves. One not questionable move was the movement in his bowels, keeping light, keeping agile, not being clogged up.
No, that's
Uh,
good.
the second one was telling Heidi that he had an idol, and then Heidi immediately goes and tells other people about it, including Jam Jam, who's like, well, maybe I could just tell everyone that he has it, and that can, take some of the
Work out
spotlight
for
off
me.
me, because Jam
Yeah.
Jam knows that he's like, yeah, every time I'm there, people are thinking about voting for me for whatever reason. Even though I think at this point he could be like I won't say anything's a lock, but like, why doesn't he get to final 3 at this point?
Yeah.
Right. Um,
I love it.
so I was quite sure pretty early on in the episode that Brandon was going home, because 2 things happened. Despite all this stuff, 2 things happened. The first was at the beginning of the episode, everyone in the Orange tribe, I will not call them by their given name because I don't
Yeah.
know that name.
The Orange Tribe.
Yeah, they were like, we're in a great position. We're just gonna run the table right now. I don't see any reason why we're not gonna run the table. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, running down, someone on Orange is going home. And then the second thing is, we come out of the immunity challenge and everyone's like, it's Franny. It's Franny. Sorry, Franny.
Yeah.
Go be with your boy.
Franny wasn't
Franny,
looking good.
you dead.
Mhm.
DOA. See you, Franny. Well, second thing, Franny is not going home. So I just knew like that's how it was gonna go. And I knew they were kind of subtly hinting like, oh, maybe that Jam Jam is gonna tell like Brandon's crew that he's using Danny's using Danny's idol on Franny, and they can flip the votes to Franny, or I'm sorry, flip the votes to Dani, and Dani would use an idol on someone else, leaving himself vulnerable to be voted out, and he would be voted out. I honestly didn't think that Jam Jam was going to do it, and I didn't think that Orange team, sorry, I don't know your name, I just didn't think that they were really kind of like playing on that level. Like they're not really thinking like that. I know I love Kane. He's like on the dark side. I don't
Yeah,
like him
I
with
knew he was
his
on the
people.
dark side.
I know. Yeah, you say
I
every
called it.
man is on the dark side. You
That's
said
true.
Matt Blankenship is on the dark side.
I did.
The little puppy dog golden retriever. You're like, something's
I
dark
know.
about him. Something's dark about him. I'm
Well,
just
so you
waiting
know
for
what?
the Me Too to drop on Matt Blankenship.
Not necessarily me too, but just I get, sometimes I get these energies, these feelings, and I just think it's right to air them out. So
Okay.
what? If I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong.
Good. Good. So I I do think the move kind of put a target on Danny's back. Like now, Brandon, now the only person who could be perceived as more physical than Danny is gone. And Danny was like, "Hey, I've had an idol the whole time. I did a power move, not even playing it for myself." I mean, I'm sure Danny's going to be out there farting at 4 a.m, digging in the bushes for an idol.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have noticed as I've been watching a lot of Survivor in the last couple years, people who find idols just keep finding idols. Like the people who know what
Yeah,
to look
because the
for, and the
producers
people.
are like, we want them to find an idol. Let's put it
But
somewhere
like,
really
I
obvious.
feel like if someone finds one, then they're going to be kind of more likely to be out and about and finding a second one, finding a third one. I just
Yeah.
watched a season where two different people found two idols, and I don't think there were any of the rest of the people on the cast found an idol once. And between the four idols that were discovered, it was just two people. So I think, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there, but target on his back, for sure. And the other person I want to call out today, the Godfather, is Heidi. I'm really liking Heidi's game
Well,
right
Heidi
now.
and yeah, go ahead.
I wasn't crazy about her kind of immediately breaking Danny's trust, but I'm like sensing a new level of social play from her that I think could be really strong. Fast forward to next week when she's voted out, whatever. I'm wrong. Hashtag Brett was wrong, whatever. But I was really surprised and I really enjoyed Heidi this week.
I feel like Heidi and Jamie, and I put them together because they were together for the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
When they showed up, because they showed the pairs of people working together for the challenge, together walking towards the towards the competition, and for each pair I was like, who? Okay, I know him. Wait, what? Oh, that guy sucks. This girl's cool. Like Carolyn, we love. But for those two, I was like, those two are the epitome of the Brett's chosen two. Jamie had like a moment earlier in the season where she was like eating the worm and being obnoxious, or like not obnoxious, but like, I don't know, people, she was standing
She's
out,
a bit,
which
I
is,
would say she's extra.
yeah, she was extra, which is anti the Brett theory of vanilla.
Be anonymous.
Yeah, exactly. But seeing them both together walking towards that challenge, I was like, that's it. Those two are Brett's perfect type of this. We need a name for it, but
The Brady All-Stars.
the Brady All-Stars, who somehow you keep forgetting about them and suddenly they're in final three.
I have not liked Jamie. Jamie is like just a very perky, bubbly person, which if I met anyone like that in real life, on TV show, whatever, not for
I'm
me.
like that,
Just
and you love me.
no, you're not. There's a darkness inside of you.
That's true. That's true.
No, I guess you are, but like I inside of you, there's like a savage hater, and
Oh,
that's
yes.
what I like.
Oh, I'm such a I am a hater. That is so true. That
See,
is so
yeah.
true. Call me out.
That's why we came together.
Yes.
Jamie's very bubbly. She's like, dude, yeah. She's like, hey, let's all eat some worms. She played her shot in the dark on episode 1 when no one was going after her.
I forgot about that.
I'm still talking about that. And I planted my flag. I'm not on Jamie Island, but literally today, this episode, I was like, man, I'm really I'm going to stick to my choice because the odds are that she will not win. Only one person can win at this point. Not at this point, and at any point. So the odds are in my favor in that you roll the dice. How many people are left? 9 people are left or whatever.
So many.
Too many.
So many.
There's only like a 1 in 10
9
shot.
people.
So like my bet is still good, right? So I'm gonna keep saying that Jamie's not gonna win, but today I'm like really beginning to regret it and be like, yeah, Jamie's playing very well. So she is entering Brett All-Star territory. However, some of the earlier things have disqualified her from that. She's almost an honorary member of the Brady All-Stars.
Yeah. I
If it
just
weren't for
thought those
previous
two.
disqualifications.
Right. Yeah. She's come a long way. You know who is not a Brady All-Star? Yam Yam. Carolyn, even though I'm
Hold
surprised
on.
Carolyn is still here. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're not in like the exact mold of a Brady All Star.
At all.
They're
They're the opposite.
they're superstars. They're
Yeah, they're
Survivor
superstars.
superstars. I'm not saying that like I don't like Carolyn and Jam Jam. Like the
No, but
story of
they're
Carolyn and Jam Jam is the story of the season. They are the Jack and Rose. Everyone thinks that the Jack and Rose is Matt and Franny. The Jack and Rose is Carolyn and Jam Jam.
yes, of course. But they're just like the opposite in that they get so much attention. Everyone knows their names. Everyone knows exactly who they are. You can spot them from a mile away. I just don't think they're going to win
Who is going to
at
win?
this moment in time. I think not Jamie. What's the other one? Heidi. Heidi's going to win.
Google's Survivor 44 cast, real names.
No, the problem is I can't because the only site that has them all in a visually acceptable way like makes my computer crash. The Survivor Wiki.
The Survivor Wiki.fandom.uk.
Yes.
Biz.
Like my computer does not like that website. There's way too much stuff going on. I don't know why.
What's going on, Steve? SurvivorWiki.com.
Yeah. What else do you have about Survivor, Bet?
That's it. That's
it.
That's it. Really.
Well, we'll see what happens next week. I'm hoping, I'm just like, I want Carolyn to win, but I don't think she will. I was really surprised she lasted this week. I thought she was going to go home. I was like, maybe that's why I was putting off watching it because I was like, I don't want to see this because my interest is already pretty low. It's going to be like 0 once she's gone.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think anyone thinks of them as a threat. People keep voting for Jam Jam or threatening to vote for him just because, like, he's easy. It's an easy vote to do. He talks a lot.
Yeah,
and he's like just such a kind of, there's a gravity around him, right? Where it's like he's just in conversations because he's not an anonymous player like the Brady All-Stars
yeah, exactly.
So like his name's just gonna be out there. At the same time, like Carolyn and Jam Jam are like fucking useless at challenges.
Yeah,
like
the turkey of the tribe, as Carolyn said.
Exactly. Like we might have like fucking 3 turkeys in final 3. It might be Thanksgiving. Like I know that'll be interesting, but like, okay, I think Dani put a target on his back by the move he made at Immunity and by getting out one of the most physical player in the game. Now he's the most physical player in the game. What are people going to do next week? Well, who's the most physical player is Dani.
Yeah.
Kane, I don't think is like amazing at challenges, but like he is a large dude. He's like physically imposing. People might think of him like that. Not that he has like particularly a resume to justify. I don't think he's won like anything really in an individual sense, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say on the subject, I have nothing against Brandon, but he was definitely a low profile player for me. So like thanks, goodbye. I don't have much of a memorial for him, is all I can say.
No, me neither. I mean, that's why I didn't mention it when you were like doing everything else on Survivor. Yeah. Like we've seen this character before, former professional athlete, comes in, does pretty well at challenges immediately, is like far and away, one of the best physical competitors there, but wouldn't really call them much of a social player, wouldn't really call them much of a strategist player.
I mean, he was Brady All-Star material. Other than
he actually physique. Like yeah. Other than that, so I was like, I've seen this before, whether it was Dani last season or 2 seasons ago, or a couple. There's always one guy who's like, yeah, I played whatever, and okay, yeah, well, you're not gonna win. I'm always watching old seasons. I just finished one a couple nights ago, and it was like, oh, next season on Survivor, meaning some season 8 seasons ago or whatever, and they're showing the clip for the next season, and it's like, I'm a former baseball player, and I'm like, oh, you're probably not going to win.
Yeah, I don't know. When was the last time a true beast won? I don't know. Listen, if you're a true Survivor fan and you're actually still watching this, send us a comment. Join our Discord and tell us. Send us a tweet. Hey, Julie,
downed our video to oblivion.
I do think, is there anything else on Survivor?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, we did have a question last week that I promised that I would answer this week. So let me just get to it. For a little more context, last week I talked about how I thought a guy at my gym was trying to either swing with me or have me join as a threesome with him and his wife. And I shouldn't say just the guy. I thought the guy was doing this. I thought the wife was doing this too. That's why it was like, um, that's why it was notable for me.
Okay.
So someone asked the question. No, wait, it was Matt May 81 asked the question. How many times has Dani Mott believed a couple was into her for a threesome? How many times? The answer might shock you. I actually think this is the only time that I've thought this. And I think it's because we are all as Brett said earlier, approaching middle age, that it felt more notable. I think
I'm
when you're
solidly
like,
there.
I
What's
think
the
when you're in
average death
college,
age in America?
for men, it's definitely
Yeah,
younger than for women.
I'm aware. I'm aware, and I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna fall in that. I'm probably gonna,
Yeah.
you know,
Like, I agreed with you.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, still single, you know. I'm still single. I'm like looking for a wife. I'm like, hey man, just letting you know, like up
But
front, you're gonna have like 10 years.
here's the
Like
thing.
you only have to be married to me for like 30 years because then you have another 20 to like play bingo
Once
and
you
stuff.
find your wife, that's the thing. What I'm saying though, Brett, is that like now that we're in this other phase of adulthood, it's more notable when a couple wants to like get you in for a threesome or wants to swing with you. Because when you're younger, it's like, yeah, of course. When you're young, it's like everything's so fluid and you're all experimenting. And what is a relationship anyway? Whereas now it just seems more
Just a
notable.
contract,
It,
just
yeah,
words on a
but
paper, except for there isn't even a paper.
exactly, and now it just seems more like, like, purposeful, like, we all know our roles here, like, you guys would have to swing, you'd come to our house, I just think it's more, it felt more thought out, and
There's
once
more
again,
logistics.
yeah, let
There's
me
more logistics.
reiterate, they didn't
But
actually want this. This was all in my head.
yeah, to recap the story, you thought that that's what was happening, but in
That's what I
reality,
thought.
what was happening is that they were potentially recruiting you to join their church,
They were really
or
nice.
they were just nice at a
Yes.
gym class.
Yes, if anyone is ever really nice to me in the future, just know I'm gonna be like, "Oh, they're trying to get me." Like that's I just they're when someone's really nice to you like that, you're like, "What are you trying to make me buy?" First of all, like, "What are you
Oh
trying
my
to sell
god!
me?"
Anytime anyone talks to me in public, I was at the mall last
Yeah.
week. The
Oh, well, you're
American
in right
Mall. The
plan.
American Mall, alive and well.
You're
Reports of its death have been uh
greatly exaggerated.
yeah. I was at the mall,
Mhm.
and in Glendale,
Yes.
California, there is the center of the Milky Way galaxy. It's not a supermassive black hole hundreds of thousands of light years away. It is
Okay.
truly 10 miles away from me in Los Angeles. And there are two malls right next to each other. There's the Glendale Galleria, a classic American indoor mall, the food
Beautiful.
court, some
Auntie
fountains,
Anne's
some
pretzels.
escalators,
Yeah.
a Macy's, everything.
Yeah.
And then across the street is the Americana at Brand, a Rick Caruso monstrosity,
Mhm.
but you got to pay for parking at the Americana. Parking is free at the Galleria. I had to do some returns at the Americana, but what you do is you park at the Galleria and you walk to the Americana. So I was
Wow.
doing my duty as a Angelino. I
Of
was
course.
parking for free at the Galleria and I was walking through the Galleria to get to the Americana. And there was they have those like kiosks in the middle where they're selling like,
Yeah, of course, of
like
course. Essential
phone
oils,
cases and stuff.
sunglasses,
Yeah, just
yeah.
like the shit nobody wants.
Yeah.
And
They
there was
can't
like
get a real store. They have to be at the kiosk in the middle of the hallway.
there was a massage one where it's like just get a
Mm.
massage right here in the there's not even
Let
walls
everyone watch
around you.
it. Yeah.
Everyone's watching you. You have the opposite of privacy.
It's so performative, like, you better act relaxed as you get
Even the
that
massage
massage.
places in the airport are like, well, there's the opening in the front. There's three walls around this
Mhm.
massage store in, you know, Cleveland Airport or whatever. I was walking by a shoe shinery, men who shine shoes, and there's a little seat and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
a man, I don't know how the fuck we got here. A man reached out and touched my wrist and was like, he was like trying to get me. I'm wearing sneakers. You're gonna shine my
What was he
sneakers?
gonna shine?
Maybe who knows? Maybe that like they have other stuff. Maybe they know that it's not 1943 anymore,
Right.
and like people aren't wearing shoes that need to be shined, and I don't work on Wall Street or whatever. Like
Right.
maybe they
Were you
have
dressed
like,
up?
oh yeah, I mean, I was wearing a giant double-breasted zoot suit to return some sweatshirts at H&M across the street.
So that you wouldn't pay for parking.
Hey, cats is me, zoot suit daddy. No, I was just wearing like jeans and a t-shirt and like sneakers or whatever. So I don't know, maybe they have like sneaker cleaner. Maybe
You
they
fit
like
the profile. Yeah.
yeah,
Whatever it was.
yeah. A middle-aged man who probably has a job.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep.
And he grabbed my wrist and was like, "Hey, excuse me, can I like ask you a question or something like that?"
Oh, I hate asking me a question.
And I forgot how we got there, but probably in regards to like staying anonymous, right? Like I just kept walking and I was like, "Don't fucking touch me." I didn't even look at him. But first of all, don't fucking touch me.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't you remember the one time we ran into each other in New York City?
I was about to say this. That actually happened to you and I.
You were the shoe shiner.
I was in New York for 48 hours for a wedding. And I did not tell Dani I was going to New York because I wasn't going to have an opportunity to see you. I wasn't going to get your hopes up. My calendar was booked 48 hours in New York City. I just wasn't telling you I was going.
Yeah, that's
which I think is fair.
Yeah, of course.
Anyways, I'm like getting out of the subway. My friend is getting married. He's doing like he's doing like the City Hall wedding.
City Hall.
And that's like at 10 in the morning or whatever. You got to go. So it's like 9 in the morning. I'm getting off the subway and I see Dani
clumping down the street.
And I'm like, but you got the headphones in. You're in that same mode. You're in New York City.
I was on my way to
work.
Excuse me, man.
Honey. It's showtime here in the subway. And I reach out and I'm like, yeah, but you got the sunglasses on. You got like the headphones on. Like you're in your mode. You're walking to work. And I reach out and touch. And I reach out like, are you looking? But you don't expect to see me because I haven't told you that I'm going to be in New York. And you do the same thing. You're like back away and you're like, don't touch me.
I felt so bad.
I felt bad. What else should you have done?
I kept walking, but you were like, Dani. And then I was like, wait, that person knows my name. And I turned around and saw you.
I know. And I was with my partner at the time who had not met you. And I was like, oh my God, you guys should meet and stuff. And I was like, there she goes. She's gonna have the weirdest day in the world. And I'm like, I had to go to this wedding, and I'm like, I'm just gonna call her later and just be like,
that was so
the guy,
funny. You know what's funny?
The crazy homeless person on the street was me.
So you've had the shoe. Now that you've been the shoe shiner,
I've never been oh yeah, okay, yeah.
You were the shoe shiner, and now you've graduated to the shoe shine target. Don't you prefer being the target?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like a piece of shit.
Oh, what if that person knew you? What if they were like gonna be like, "Hey, it's me"?
Well, that's what happened. So, like, I'm still 100% convinced it was a scam. But the guy was like, "No, like," so I was like, he like touches my wrist and is like, "Hey, yo, I gotta ask you a question, man," or whatever. But like, you're the guy who's like working at the shoe shinery.
Yeah.
Sorry. I keep calling it shoe shiner. I don't. What else you call it?
That is what it is.
A brewery is a brewery.
Yeah.
A coffee house is a coffee.
Ice creamery.
What else is ice creamery? Yeah. And he's like, no, and I'm like, don't fucking touch me. I just keep walking. It's like that's my move. Sunglasses on. I move like a shark. I do not. I want to be perceived by anybody.
List. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta return these sweatshirts at H&M.
um,
And so he's like, I pulled away and he's like, no, there's like, I gotta tell you something. And then his buddy at the thing was like, no. And I'm like, I have to commit super hard to, I'm not
oh
gonna give
my
them
god.
my thing. And I'm like, oh shit, is my fly down? Is there like, do I have like a long strand of toilet paper
Oh,
attached
that's
to
how they get
my
you.
foot or
That's how
something
they
like
get
that?
you.
I am
Yeah.
not going to look. And I kept walking. And I waited until I was outside of the mall at the
Yeah.
intersection, the famous intersection between the
Famous.
Galleria and the Americana brand. And I was like, I checked. I was like, oh, my fly. Okay, my fly's up. My phone is in my way. I got everything. There's no toilet paper on my shoes. Like I don't have like hair sticking up or like, a booger
Yeah.
hanging out of my nose or whatever. I was like, so I'm convinced it was a scam.
Yeah.
Rough. I almost got played. Can't play a player.
I mean, here's the thing. No one who has a question goes, hey, can I ask you a question? A real question. They go, hey, do you know where the Annie M's pretzels is? Hey, is the train this way? Like do you have the time? They don't preface it with a question.
I know it's LA, but I'm a New Yorker at heart. I don't have the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to
I
return
can't believe
these
after
videotapes.
the first rejection, he got the friend to double down.
That's the game. That's what they do all day long is they touch people and yell at them and like.
And this was at Rick Caruso's Americana at the brand?
No, it was not. It was not.
Oh.
Rick, Los Angeles' second favorite fascist, Rick Caruso.
Who's the first? Katy Perry?
Yeah, probably. I was saying one thing. I was like Los Angeles' second choice for mayor, and then it turned into the other thing.
Yeah.
He would never have that at one of his properties.
The
This is at the
Americana
Galleria,
brand.
which is like
Oh.
It actually literally might be. I believe it either is or looks exactly very, very similar to the mall in Terminator 2, where like young John Connor like plays video games and stuff. But it's like
gets in trouble.
very sort of like 1980s style, very gray looking, blocky mall, right? So, yeah, that's the answer to your question about about whether Danielle
has ever how many threesomes
had a consensual affair with this couple at the gym.
Yeah, it's a consensual affair. But except we didn't. Yeah, it's ethical under capitalism. I did want to talk a little bit about a show I watched called The Diplomat.
Okay, I thought
because it's starring one of Brady's crushes, Carrie Russell from The Americans.
Oh yeah, I was gonna watch this. I saw
it's
a
on
commercial.
Netflix.
Like,
we hate Netflix.
Carrie Russell is at her best. And I'm like,
she is at her. She's
always at her
up
best.
There. Yeah.
There's a show called The Americans where she is at her best.
Yeah, and I didn't watch all of that. I only watched the first season, so I can't really speak to it. But I am a fan of Carrie Russell, fellow Brooklyn mom. So I watched the first 2 episodes. I gotta say, I'm enjoying it. And this is one of the shows that I watched instead of watching Survivor this week. So I would just say, since you're such a big fan of Carrie Russell, give it a try. It's kind of confusing because, first of all, it's so about like American politics.
No one understands that, especially if they live, 10 miles from America, like Danielle.
Yeah. and lived there for 15 years and married someone who's very involved in local politics. But I'll give you guys the nutshell so you can decide if you want to check it out. But so she's a career politic lady. No, she's not a diplomat. Her husband's a diplomat.
She's not the diplomat?
No, but she becomes one because the president's like, I want you to be. She's in the back room. She's doing deals. She thought she was going to get an assignment in Kabul, which I thought was pronounced Kabul, but it's Kabul is the way they say it. Kabul. And that's what she thought. But then the president's like, actually, I want to get you fast tracked to be my vice president because I don't like my current vice president. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you in London. She's the ambassador in London, which is like the cushiest job you could get as an ambassador.
Yeah, it's that or like Australia or like Fiji. You got to be the Fiji
it's like
one.
Fab.
Fiji one. You're like, yeah, excuse me, Jeff. Probst, you got to come to my office.
Yes.
You got to bring me that pizza that you guys serve on the island. This is important
But-
diplomatic business.
and then her husband is played by the most British guy, but he has to have an accent. What's his name? It's like Rupert. It's not Rupert Everett, but it's
Rupert
something.
Friend? Rupert
It's
Friend?
not Rupert. It's not Rupert Friend.
Oh, there's
It's
only
like
one Rupert.
no. It's Rufus.
Well, it's not Rupert
Sewell.
Grint.
It's Rufus.
Rufus
Sewell.
Sewell. Yes.
And he is so good. Except I don't know why they had to make him American. Anyway, they are such a fabulous looking couple together.
Because he's an American diplomat.
I know, but just make him British. Like, whatever. It's TV.
Is that legal? Is that legal?
No.
Is that like if I'm the president, if I'm President Joe Byron, and I'm like, hey, the British diplomat quit, or like they got a better like they're on Survivor 45 and they need like they're retiring.
Yeah.
Can I just say like, and Adele is available. Adele's free. She's like, I'm quitting. Can I make Adele the ambassador to England?
Well,
if she's already
like
English,
ambassadorship
wouldn't
is
that
sort
be?
of,
Wouldn't that be
chill.
like crossing the streams? Like, wouldn't
No,
she like do
chill.
spy shit for Britain and tell the prime minister, be like, yo, you know?
Maybe actually,
I know because I'm loyal to you. I'm a little more loyal to the crown.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I just think he'd be hotter with that English accent. In fact, I know he is because he's British.
Okay, sorry.
But so that's a Dani rack. That's one Dani rack for you. Here's a Dani non-rack.
Okay.
I started watching Ghosted, starring Pod Fave Anna de Armas.
Oh my Lord.
And not Pod Fave Chris Evans.
I guess, gun to my head, I would choose to watch Ghosted instead of Evil Dead Rise. I cannot think of something I want to watch less than Evil Dead Rise, and it might be Ghosted.
The only reason I watched it is so I could bring it up. I was like, let me watch it so I can give just a little bit of an opinion on Hey Julie.
It looks so bad.
Half an hour.
And they were showing the ad for it. I'm like, Netflix, you have sunk to a new low, my friends.
It's not Netflix, it's Apple TV.
No. I was like, oh, Steve, Apple, what are you doing?
Sorry, I ruined your review.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. That's exactly my point. You got it. I thought this was Netflix shock. Oh, wow. Another movie where two hot actors are spies, but maybe they kiss. Make one other movie, Netflix. And Netflix said, we shall. We're making The Diplomat. We're making Beef.
Yeah.
Apple got their hands caught in the cookie jar, making Netflix schlock.
I mean,
I can't believe it. It looks so bad.
It is so bad. And what's crazy is like, I don't know if I read this somewhere, so it has colored my experience watching it. But as I was watching it, I was like, how much of this were Anna de Armas and Chris Evans actually in the same room together while they filmed it? Because it really seems like they are not in the same time zone, let alone the same farmer's market that they're supposedly filming at.
Two things. Mr. and Mrs. Smith ruined sexy spy movies. All right.
Yeah.
If you are going to do a movie where the two leads are sexy spies who maybe kiss, Dani would know this. She experiences this at the gym every day. They probably have to be hooking up in real life.
They need chemistry.
So like they need the Armas, she's with Affleck. Maybe she's on the market now. I don't know what Chris Evans.
She's single, ready to mingle.
I don't know what his situation is. I would imagine he's like married to like a very like pretty looking like milk toast blonde woman, right?
I think he's I don't know.
What if he's a freak?
I think he is a freak.
But here's the thing. If they were getting it on, we would know about it because Apple would be like, hey, TMZ. You know, like that. That's some free marketing for your movie is like, are they or aren't they? Right. So, hey, first of all, if you're making a sexy spy movie, your two leads need to legitimately be hooking up in real life. And if you don't do that, don't make the movie. Second, there are a lot of ads for the 10th film in a movie about driving cars and stealing DVD players, a movie franchise called Fast and Furious. That movie legitimately the Fast X or whatever it is, Fast 10.
Yeah.
That movie legitimately looks like the entirety of it was filmed on a blue screen like in Avatar land, or like like episode 2, The Phantom Menace, or whatever, where they're like,
Yeah.
oh, just everything's in a weird space palace. Nobody was in the same room for this movie at all. Literally every shot is like filmed in front of a blue screen, when the movie is about like driving cars and like having barbecues in Los Angeles. Why?
Which is really too bad, because the reason those movies are popular is because that cast did have a lot of chemistry together. Of course, R.I.P. Paul Walker, but like Michelle Rodriguez, Vin Diesel, Jordana Brewster, all those other guys, Tyrese, Ludacris, whoever, they all actually have really good chemistry together. So yeah, they just, maybe the egos are getting too big. Ever since The Rock joined, there's been
I'm
tension
sure
on
Vin
set.
Diesel has a huge ego, but like
I'm sure he
Ludacris,
does
what's
too.
he doing? What's he doing?
I'm sure he does too. But well, I'm just saying.
You said one thing, and I wanna bring it back to this, and we can wrap up unless we have other questions. You talked about Brooklyn
House
Mom,
MD. Oh, yeah, Brooklyn Mom, Carrie Russell.
Carrie
Yeah.
Russell. I just discovered something, a shocking fact
Okay.
that feels like it's in the Brooklyn Mom Dad category.
Tell me. This is my favorite category.
Carolina from Succession.
Yes.
Everyone's hot for Carolina
Oh, yeah, she's
on
fab.
the interwebs. Do you know who the actress whose name I cannot and will not pronounce on these airwaves? Do you know who she's married to IRL?
The Carolina actress?
Yes.
If it's on the subject of Brooklyn, I mean, the
Brooklyn
most
Think
Brooklyn
Brooklyn
man,
Daddy. Think
the only
Brooklyn
one I can
Daddy.
think of is Ethan Hawke. Who else?
No.
Who is it?
Patrick Wilson.
Whoa, he is a Brooklyn daddy for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if he
Brooklyn power
lives.
couple.
I don't know if he lives in Park Slope. It feels like he does. It feels like he does.
Yeah. Brooklyn Heights, Park Slope.
And
I
like,
mean,
if you're hot for Carolina online, sorry. She's like, you're not better than Patrick Wilson. Not
no.
happening, friend.
Exactly. He might not have been the Phantom of the Opera, but he was in the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah,
so
he's not.
It's close enough.
Yeah, I mean, how's that playing out, right? Because you got the other guy,
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler. I kept wanting to call him Bertrand. Like, his name is not Bertrand.
Bertrand Russell.
But I mean, he's doing Plane, and Patrick Wilson is like, I don't know, he's probably doing Broadway stuff. He's
doing Broadway. He's having a
exactly.
great.
He's married to
He is in
Carolina.
demand. Yeah, exactly.
She's
Bertrand
the queen
Russell
of
is a
HBO.
British mathematician, just so everyone knows.
So that's it. Well, that's it for us this week.
That's it. And you know what? I can tell it was just not an inspiring week of Survivor, because that was the only question we got. It was about my personal experience with threesomes.
Hold on. There is one thing from a few days ago.
Okay.
At Paige's Conscious, Bob Hart's Abishola is still on and on their 4th season, ? At Hey Julie BB. I guess so. Guess so. Now that's the kind of content, the kind of questions we love. Bread and butter. Right here. Hey Julie.
Red and Bob Hart's Abishola. Thank you all so much for listening. We're going to tweet out finally the link to the Discord so you all can join and we can chat all week long. But in the meantime, you can also still tweet us your questions and comments at HeyJulieBB on Twitter and email us HeyJulieBigBrother@gmail.com. Also, I just want to do a quick check-in. It's April, the 23rd of April. Big Brother season 25 is a few months away. It's going to start getting warmer. We're going to start getting excited. That's when you really got to get into the Discord, because that's where we're going to plan our rumors and gossip.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to
That's what we're going to, yeah.
I'm still hyping this up.
To destroy Big Brother. Yeah.
Yes. Well, not destroy it, but make it more fun leading up to it. So thank you all so much for listening.
Yeah, that's it. We've said the names of everything.
Yeah. Bye, Jeff.
Goodbye. Bye, Jeff.